Lagos Talks
91.3.
News.
About 130 million Nigerians are poor and living in poverty, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, the NBS, in its latest report, its 2022 Multidimensional Poverty Index Survey, released today in Abuja. Noting that the figure represents 63% of the nation's population, the Bureau said the poverty index is mostly experienced in rural areas, especially in the north, with women and children being the most affected. The survey was conducted by the NBS, the National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office, NASCO, the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, as well as the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative, OPHI. Using data based on multidimensional poverty index with 5 components of health, living standard, education, security, and unemployment, the report said over 50% of children across the country are affected by poverty. In his remarks, the Statistician General of the Federation, Adeyemi Adeniro, had noted that 56,610 households were surveyed before the report. Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State today pledged to provide logistic support for the campaigns of Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi within Rivers State. Wike also said Obi, a former Anambra State governor, has all the characteristics to lead Nigeria. He made the pledge at the venue of the Nkpolu Oroworokwo flyover inauguration in Rivers State, Port Harcourt. The Rivers governor, however, said unlike Obi, who left the PDP, he will remain in the opposition party. Peter Obi and his running mate Dati Baba Ahmed were in the state capital to commission the 9th flyover by the present administration. Ahead of the 2023 elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, the INEC, today said it will address all issues raised concerning the National Register of Voters. INEC had this month made the entire register public on its website for the first time in the nation's electoral history. However, many Nigerians have identified numerous cases of underage voters and double registration. In a statement signed by National Commissioner Festus Okoye, INEC said it was committed to cleaning up the register and punish those found guilty of tampering with its integrity. The Commission said making the register public was a sign of transparency on its part. The register is expected to be displayed physically at the registration area level from November 12 to 18. Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, Abdul Rashid Bawa, has revealed that the number of governors on the anti-graft agency's watchlist has increased. Fielding questions from newsmen after meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential Villa Abuja, Bawa refused to reveal the identities or number of governors currently under the agency's radar, as he also promised financial rewards for information on persons hoarding Naira notes.
Our part, of course, we will continue to call on Nigerians that the whistleblower policy is still on and running. And for information that, of course, Nigerians will come forth with, they stand the chance of, getting up to 5% of what we will successfully recover that are illegitimately earned. To remind Nigerians that Igula is very important, for those that are reporting the holders of these currencies that we know that are out there. On the issue of the governors that we are monitoring, in fact, the numbers have even increased. We are monitoring everything. Nigerians are helping. Well, I don't want to give you the figure so that you will not go and speculate whether they are in the north or they are in the south. But it's important that Nigeria key into it.
That was the chairman of the EFCC, Abdul Rashid Bawa. Correspondent Raliat Adenikon reports that the EFCC chief also said that a planned redesign of the Naira note will help the CBN control the monies in the system and aid security agencies in tackling illicit financial flows. He also added that a planned redesign of the nation's currency may further crash the US dollar against the Naira, which will appreciate greatly in value.
We are happy with this Naira redesign in the sense that it will give central bank an opportunity of, going back to square one. By the time they collect all these monies back to their system, then they are going to control the monies that they are going to release to the system. And then, of course, once the monies are back within the financial institution, it will help to further boost, economic activities, in the sense that there will be more money for people to borrow. And then we, on our own part, will have the avenue of monitoring what are we doing with all these huge resources that are out there before, that are now within the financial, institution, the crashing of the USD. And then we just realize that it's just about speculation. Majority of these transactions on USDs that is happening, on the streets and among individuals are not for any economic reality. They are just using it as a means to store value. And we believe with this issue of Naira Redesign and with the good government policies that is being pushed, dollar is going to crash to 200 Naira, God willing.
The EFCC boss had noted that a sting operations based on intelligence reports on BDCs in Abuja has led to the recoveries of millions of various currencies, and more operations, he said, will be carried out. The embattled leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has withdrawn his suit against the federal government of Nigeria. The development was disclosed in a tweet by counsel Aloy Ejimako, lawyer to the detained IPOB leader. Kanu had on September 23rd this year filed a writ of summons to challenge the process of his arrest and extradition by the federal government from a location in Kenya. Justice Eyang Eko of a federal high court sitting in Abuja had fixed November 18 for the hearing of the suit, which also had the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency NIA, Ahmed Abubakar, as a defendant. In a bid to stamp out all economic saboteurs across the country's creeks, Defense Headquarters has revealed that its troops arrested 29 criminals responsible for oil theft within Delta, Bayelsa, and River States. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Danmadami, who made a disclosure today in Abuja while briefing newsmen on the military operational efforts in the country, said its troops also discovered and destroyed 44 illegal refining sites.
Within the weeks in review, troops of Operation Delta Safe, in the conduct of Operation Octopus Grip, discovered and destroyed 44 illegal refining sites, 32 wooden boats, 73 storage tanks, 129 cooking ovens, 40 dugout pits. Troops equally recovered 512,000 liters of stolen crude oil, 114,500 liters of illegal refined gas, automotive gas oil, 1,000 liters of premium motor spirit, 40 vehicles, 3 motorcycles, 3 generators, as well as 5 pumping machines. Troops also arrested 29 criminal elements and recovered 104.
General Dan Madami, while speaking on the recent patrol of military personnel in the capital city, had urged citizens not to panic, explaining that the measure taken is to ensure security for all, whilst adding that the military is ever ready to secure the country from criminal elements.
Vehicles are deployed based on normal routine activities within the Federal Capital Territory as part of the obligations and the mandates of Gas Brigade. And in the past 2 weeks or thereabouts, several operations have been conducted, not only in the FCT, but across, that is additional operations or exercises are being conducted across the nation, not just only at the FCT. And you will recall that some weeks back, there was an exercise that was being conducted by the Nigerian Army War College. So definitely once those exercises are being conducted, to give that exercise a sense of reality, all those vehicles, all those equipment that are supposed to be deployed for that exercise are usually deployed on the ground. So it's not a...
In preparation for the 2023 general elections, an advocacy group known as Rebuild Nigeria Initiative has called for the return to regionalization of Nigeria, as well as set a high standard education requirements for political aspirants if the nation must be rebuilt. At one of this series of discussions to hold before the elections, panelists in Lagos had urged Nigerians to hold leaders to account and never leave problem solving to politicians. The panelists are also of the view that Nigerian leaders should come up with a national plan to guide future leaders, saying the political party manifestos can only negatively distort national progress. Convener of Rebuild Nigeria Initiative, Pastor Itua Igodalo, had bared his mind on the way to rebuild the country.
If we are not united and work together, we are not going anywhere together. So some of these problems have not been resolved. People have not spoken about them. Then number three is to agree the common vision for Nigeria, and then number 4 is to agree the kinds of people we want to be our leaders. What is the criteria?
Governor Dakpa Abiodun of Osun State today, Thursday, presented a budget proposal of 472.26 billion naira before the State House of Assembly for the year 2023. Titled Budget of Continued Development and Prosperity, Governor Abiodun said the budget will take his administration's Building Our Future agenda together to the next level. He said that the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure takes the lion's share of 129.3 billion naira, indicating 27% of the total budget. The Ogun State Governor made this known while presenting the appropriation bill to the Speaker, Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, at the Assembly Complex in Abeokuta. And now look at foreign news. Ghana has announced an increase in the national daily minimum wage, which will take effect from the beginning of next year. It will rise by 10% to 14.88 cedis, about $1 from the 1st of January. It's designed to help alleviate the burden caused by the rise in the cost of living. However, as annual inflation is now running at 40%, a 10% increase in the minimum wage will not cover the rise in prices. Ghana is the world's second largest cocoa producer and Africa's leading gold producer. However, the country is battling an economic crisis with a decline in currency and high debt levels. The country is currently negotiating a $3 billion bailout plan from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, aimed at stabilizing the economy. More strikes have been reported across Ukraine days after one of Russia's most intense bombardments of the war. A gas production plant is in the east of the country, and a missile factory in Dnipro were amongst the latest targets, Ukrainian officials say. Parts of Ukraine have seen their first snowfall of the season, but many people cannot heat their homes as Russia continues to pound the country's power grid. Moscow has looked to justify its recent strikes by accusing Kiev of unwillingness to negotiate. Its recent long-range attacks follow a series of setbacks on the battlefield during the months-long war.
Lagos Talks
91.3.